Hello. Okay, we got a lot of astrology going on, and I wanted to share my technique for examining the astrology. So we're at the Virgo full moon. No, Virgo. Wait, what the heck am I saying? It's a new moon. New moon in Pisces. I was doing forecast yesterday, so I'm just like getting things confused because the Virgo full moon is going to come up. No, yeah, it's a Virgo full moon. Yes. And I will keep this recording in. It is a Virgo full moon and it's hitting on my ascendant pretty hard. So yeah, it's time for me to share shiz. So I am sharing my technique. If you know your sun, moon, and rising sign, this is how to do it. If you only know your sun sign, you can still follow along and kind of compare to other signs like in your life, in your family. And you might even have a duplicate sign, like if you have the same sun and rising, for example. But basically, how I like to do it is you want to visualize it as you have three separate charts, okay? And can I like draw? Because I'm just like sharing. I can annotate the screen, right? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so you want to start at your sign. So my sun sign is in Leo. And then where's Virgo? One sign away. So this is one, two. So this means that the full moon in Virgo is affecting my second house through my sun sign. So we're gonna put sun here. I could have started this a little bit better, but I just like had to get right into it. Um, so sun sign and then moon and rising is the big one. So that can be in the one in the little square rising. And so my moon sign is in Scorpio. So we're going to start counting to Virgo from Scorpio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can also count backwards 1, 12, 11. So my 11th house is being activated. And through my rising sign is Pisces. And we know right now Virgo is exactly opposite to Pisces. So I know that it's affecting my seventh house. So second house, 11th house, and seventh house themes. This is where you can go in and Google those houses. But how I do it in my brain is I immediately start just making a list. So, second house, finances, values, money. Well, I guess that's finances. Values, two also means balance, too, right? 11th house, friends, community, groups. This also really relates to how I'm like feeling and in terms of like the energy I create, the energy I put out there, energy you put out. Of course, Googling your own houses, stuff like that. Googling helps, you know, add like when you're Googling, take the connotation that works for you. You're like, oh yeah, I am feeling that theme. Actually, let me Google a little bit right now. 11th house themes. And let's see if I'm maybe would be good to think about something else. Friendships, the nature of friendships, social circles, humanitarian and community activities, which is interesting. Because I wouldn't think that is a hot topic, but it is. We'll get into that. Self-actualization and freedom, collective ideals. So I'm liking everything I'm seeing here. So go back to Canva. Um, collective ideals, humanitarian concerns. Um, and then of course we have the seventh house, relationships, finances. Um, Not finances, relationships. My seventh house is in Virgo, so I also do like health, routine, being of service, beauty, appearance is a little bit in there too. And I got a lot of pimples going on right now. So basically we would want to make this in a fun little pretty chart. So let me get rid of these annotations. Can I go back and clear them? Options, clear. Clear all drawings because we don't really need that anymore. But so looking at these houses that are influenced by the full moon in Virgo. And then on top of this, we also have several retrogrades going on. And Mars is influencing, but because it's a Virgo full moon, we want to look at where Mercury is. And really, Mercury is following in the footsteps of Venus, going in Aries, retrograding into Pisces. And at this moment in time of the full moon, let me see, Mercury is still in Aries. Mercury and Venus are still in Aries. So we're also going to do this counting stuff um from uh from Aries. So my sun sign is in Leo, so gonna count backwards this time. So 12, 11, 10, 9. So we got a ninth house activation. My moon sign is Scorpio. So we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sixth house activation. And my rising sign is in Pisces. So we had another second house activation with Pisces being 1, Aries being second house there. So this is where I like to do the same process. So then you can really see how themes are overlapping. So I'm going to say Mercury and Venus retrograde because Mercury and Venus retrograde. So my ninth house is being activated through my sun sign. And this is new idea, freedom, exploration, big picture, philosophy, education, travel. And and then sixth house through my moon, that is also health, being of service. And balance, body, like interactions with other people is what it also makes me think of, interactions with others. And then second house is, of course, finances, money, balance, values. And what's interesting here is you're also examining it through your own natal chart. So we can recognize Virgo rules all of these houses, technically. The second, the 11th, and 7th houses in our in my solar chart. Or in my sun, like, sorry, that made no sense. Virgo rules my second, 11th, and 7th houses because through these three different charts. In a rising sign chart, we would just be like, oh, Virgo rules your seventh house because your rising is in Pisces. No, it also rules my 11th and second through my other signs. So it really shows how themes of Virgo can bleed through these other life areas. And with Mercury and Venus in Aries, it shows, okay, Aries energy also shows up in my sense of ninth house themes, sixth house themes, second house themes. So right now, doing this exercise with this current astrological climate, it's really important to consider how the energy of Virgo and Aries mixes in your life. And Virgo and Aries are in conjunct to each other. So that's why people are flipping their shit like I am. Because we got major transits and their corresponding is in conjunct. So it basically means I like to describe an in conjunct as like when you reach for a cabinet, but you just miss it because you're just so used to reaching for something, but you're not, or like you're just having a little bit of your vision, your depth is off. You think something's close, but it's far away, or you hit something too soon. There's just something off with your distance right now. It's not quite spot on. It's not quite clear. So that's what's going on with a lot of these planets. Because there's so much retrograde in Aries too, me and my practice, I would be repeating this practice with where Mars is. And Mars, because Mars has also just went retrograde. Let me double check this stuff. Mars was retrograding in Cancer, and so it's still in Cancer. So I'm going to go Mars. Cancer, knowing that it's direct now, which is great, but how does it influence my sun, moon, and rising? So here I'll draw again with a different color. So with Cancer, Leo, it's 12th house. Cancer with my Scorpio, it is 12, 11, 10, right? 12, 11, 10, 9, another ninth house theme. Cancer through my Pisces is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is where shit gets fun too. So we got another ninth house through Cancer. This is again freedom, but there's more emotional to it. Freedom, emotional release, even emotional connection to education, philosophy, stuff like that. Sixth house coming up again, and with the Virgo influence here, I brought up body and stuff and being of service in the seventh house. So that is a big theme to think about then for me with these transits. Sixth house, health, being of service, balance, body. Something else I was thinking about was like motherhood, and preparing for that. And that's a Cancer theme too. And then fifth house, joy, children, exploration, exploring, creativity. Oh, escapism is something that came up in a tarot spread too. And the ninth house activations, fifth house, and collective ideals or group stuff really relate to that. So, sorry, you're just kind of seeing my process in live time, exploring creativity, exploring creativity. So here, looking at this stuff, we want to walk ourselves through these questions like, what are the connecting themes? What are the relevant themes? Like top of your mind. What themes have you not thought of? And then you want to get a little deeper into it. And then what are these activations telling you to focus on? We want to walk ourselves through these questions. So the connecting themes, I already kind of talked about this, like health, being of service, and rebalancing some of that stuff. So this full moon in Virgo, because it is an eclipse, it's clear to me that a new chapter is turning on my finances, my social and community groups, and my relationships. I just got news about my job where my job is changing. I have no idea what it will be. I work for the government of Canada, and that whole process is interesting where you have to wait. Where my finances and values, they're kind of in this, okay, well, will I be working in a job that is still aligned with my values? Will I be how and that really falls into the other themes of being of service. How am I being of service? I don't know where I will be in terms of being of service in the way I want to be in this current state that I'm used to of being a public servant. But that also, so affects my balance right now because I'm like, okay, well, like, what are my decisions? Should I think about my options and other choices? Two, this also affects my community, like literally I won't be interacting with the same people. We won't be having the same collective goals. So that's changing. And of course, that affects my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my coworkers, and things like that. This stress has affected my beauty and appearance. Funnily enough, Mercury and Venus are retrograde, and I did get a haircut spur of the moment where I didn't like the way they did my bangs. So kind of funny that that was like a retrograde moment of like, oh, Was that the best idea? You got to rework something. Um, so there's a lot of connecting themes that are top of mind that are relevant to my like daily life. Health too. I've hurt my back, so focusing on my health and being of service to people. But themes that I haven't actually thought about deeply are ninth house, about freedom, exploration. Yeah, I've been thinking about big picture stuff, but like diving into philosophy or escapism, like letting this time where I'm stressful, focusing on the more reality stuff of money and of people. Am I letting myself explore? Am I letting myself write or learn new things and spend more time looking at that? No, I am not. Likely because Mercury and Venus are retrograde, and that's trying to direct me to, oh, focus on these other things. Like how do you want to open your mind? What new perspectives do you want to see? It can also be escapism, diving into good movies, books, TV shows. So I should really be doing that, really be resting this weekend. I'm gonna watch The Wheel of Time. That new Millie Bobby Brown movie on Netflix looked good. So all of the things like that. So what themes not thought of is actually resting. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to rest, but I'm trying to focus on proving my worth to people. I'm focusing on being healthy, and actually maybe I need to focus on just like being free and unrestricted by these things. So a lot of contrast that I'm experiencing right now. And you're always going to be experiencing contrast. There will be things that line up, but it's up to you to choose this too. Because I could be looking at this and being like, okay, yeah, so I'm going to focus even more on my health. No. Because me as an astrologer is going to say, well, haven't you been focusing on that enough? You could be like, based on your own personal experiences, your own wounds and insecurities, I could be like, yeah, oh my God, I'm gaining so much weight right now. My pimples look ugly. Like, I really need to like take care of this. But no, I know that would be me coming from a place of anxiety. So I'm using this tool to be like, what am I missing here? What can I focus on instead? What have I been giving too much energy to? And that would be too much energy to these other themes. So let myself take this full moon weekend and focus on these ninth house themes. They're top of mind with these other activations, which are just as prominent as the full moon, really. The full moon activation through the 7th, 11th, and 2nd, like I could be really kind of learning new things that help me feel more ease in this, or connecting to collective energies like 11th house themes through whatever I get into with ninth house themes of exploring new topics or studying or writing articles for you guys, connecting to my community. I can see how those things could be connected and how I haven't been achieving as much balance as I've wanted to. So I think that these activations are telling me to focus on the ninth house themes a little bit, telling my story, sharing it, sharing these big picture ideas, but connecting them to something deeper with the ninth house themes. Deeper, ninth house also speaks to transcendence and like working with creation. So, and the fifth house, creating, and escapism. So that's something really interesting. So my goal is why I was like, I'm just gonna record this video is because this is creating a little blueprint for an actual worksheet that I will be able to share, to be like, okay, your moon sign houses through this transit. Is there another transit going on at this time that you want to look at alongside this transit? Is there a third transit? And usually keeping it to 3 gives you lots of information like we did here. So stay tuned for a lovely worksheet like that. You can't see my pimples in this light, but like it's happening. Um, and I will be traveling soon. So also this ninth house stuff is also like focus on your travel that's coming up. Um, Look ahead a little bit more instead of just focusing on what's happening right now, maybe. So that's exciting. Great tips for me. I'm gonna even put this video into ChatGPT and be like, yo, tell me, ChatGPT, what I should be focusing on now based on the advice in this video. Um, that's literally just for me. But when you need more clarity like that, it's a great tool to have. And that's the end of what I wanted to share. I hope it is helpful. Feel free to rewatch this video and go along with your placements, especially at this actual time of full moon being in Virgo, there being Mercury and Venus retrogrades in Aries, and Mars being in Cancer. This combination of transits is really crazy because of those in conjunct um, activations. And then Mars in Cancer is actually a square, like, or Cancer and Aries is a square. So it's very confusing. There's a lot of obstacles we're facing, but kind of laying out the themes that are happening in your life and how you're reacting to them, where you can achieve more balance, where you're focusing or giving too much of your energy is ultimately the goal that I love astrology for showing me that path. So thank you. And was I even I was like, was I even recording this? Thank you and goodbye.